Rain drummed softly against the car windows as Maya Thompson pulled into the driveway earlier than anyone expected. She had cut her work trip short, halfway through, unable to ignore the pull in her chest. She missed David, and tonight she wanted to surprise him. The drive had been long, but her heart was light. She pictured his face lighting up, imagined the warmth in his arms, the way he always said her name when he didn't expect her. The house stood glowing gently against the cold, wet evening, familiar, comforting, still. She parked quietly at the curb. A smile tugged at her lips as she grabbed her suitcase, stepping carefully toward the front door. No noise, no announcement. Just the kind of surprise love stories are made of. Key in hand, she turned the lock slowly and stepped inside, silent as breath. The house smelled like fresh coffee and toast, and there was laughter coming from upstairs. Maya frowned. David never laughed like that when she was away. She thought maybe he was on a video call with one of his work friends. She placed her bag near the door and went upstairs, moving lightly, hoping to surprise him in his home office. But when she reached the kitchen on the top floor, she stopped dead in her tracks. Standing there, wearing David's favorite shirt, was Chloe, Maya's best friend. Chloe was flipping pancakes and humming as if she owned the place. For a moment, Maya's mind went blank. Why was Chloe here? Why was she wearing his shirt? Chloe's eyes met Maya's. There was a flash of panic, a quick stiffness in her body, but it vanished as fast as it came. Chloe smiled, though it looked fake, and said, "Oh, Maya, you're back early." David said, "I could crash here for a bit. I just borrowed his shirt because mine was wet." Maya's heart pounded so hard, she felt it in her ear. She wanted to scream, to ask why Chloe was acting so comfortable, why she looked like she belonged there, but no words came out. Instead, she just stood still, her face calm, while her insides screamed. Chloe went back to humming, as if nothing was wrong, but the smirk on her lips said more than any words. Maya walked away silently, her chest tight and heavy. Everything she thought was safe and steady, her home, her marriage, her best friend, had cracked in a single moment. She didn't shout, she didn't cry, she just stayed quiet, and that silence felt heavier than any scream she could ever let out. Maya was a successful HR manager, married to David for 6 years. She loved her job because it allowed her to help people, solve problems, and bring teams together. At home, she thought she had built something even more special, a happy marriage. But deep down, Maya carried old scars. When she was a child, she had watched her father cheat on her mother, breaking their family apart. For years, she struggled with trust. She promised herself she would never live like her mother, crying quietly while pretending everything was fine. When she met David, she thought she had finally left those fears behind. David was charming and ambitious, the kind of man people noticed when he walked into a room. He ran his own business and loved talking about big plans and future dreams. When they first got married, he was caring and warm, always making Maya feel like she was his priority. But over the last year, something had changed. He was often busy with work, glued to his phone, taking late-night calls, and saying he was too tired to talk. Maya felt the distance growing between them, but she ignored it, telling herself, every couple goes through phases. Then there was Chloe, Maya's best friend since college. They had shared everything, late-night study sessions, heartbreaks, even vacations together. Chloe was practically family, the kind of friend Maya trusted with her life. Recently, Chloe had been struggling. She lost her job and said she was feeling depressed. Maya, always wanting to help, told her she could stay over whenever she needed a break from her own apartment. Chloe had stayed a few times before, and Maya never thought twice about it. Chloe was her friend. Maya believed she had chosen a different life from her mother's. She married for love and built her marriage on loyalty and honesty. She believed she had created a safe place where betrayal could never reach her. Every time she looked at David and Chloe, she felt grateful that life had given her good people to trust. But now, after seeing Chloe in David's shirt, That belief was cracking. The house she had thought of as her safe space suddenly felt like it had secrets hiding in every corner. It wasn't just the idea of her husband being unfaithful. It was Chloe, her best friend, her sister in everything but blood. Maya couldn't understand how two people she trusted the most could betray her like this. Her mind went back to her childhood, watching her mother sit silently at the dinner table, eyes red from crying, while her father pretended nothing was wrong. Maya had promised herself she would never live like that, never ignore betrayal, never accept lies. Her marriage had been her proof that she had escaped that cycle, and now even that felt like it was slipping through her fingers. Maya sat alone, later that night, staring at the walls of the home she had decorated with so much love. Everything looked the same, yet it felt different, like a stranger's house. The woman who valued loyalty more than anything was now standing in the middle of betrayal, and she had no idea what to do next. Maya overhears a hushed conversation in the kitchen later that evening. She had been upstairs unpacking her bag when she heard soft voices and light laughter floating up from below. She stepped closer to the stairway, careful not to make a sound. "She's too trusting," Chloe said, her voice low but clear. David laughed softly. "Yeah, that's what I love about her. She never questions anything." Maya's chest tightened. Too trusting. They were talking about her. She was sure of it. She stood frozen for a moment, gripping the stair rail, her breath caught in her throat. Then she quietly backed away into the bedroom, trying to keep her face calm when David eventually came upstairs. When he walked in, she forced a small smile. "Hey," she said gently. "Why was Chloe wearing your shirt this morning, and why is she staying here so often?" David didn't look surprised or guilty. He just shrugged and smiled like nothing was wrong. "She had a bad night, Maya. She spilled coffee on her clothes, so I gave her one of my shirts." "You're overreacting." Maya stared at him, her hands twisting in her lap. "It just felt strange, that's all," she whispered. David sighed, kissing her on the forehead. "You worry too much. It's nothing." Then he turned away to check his phone as if the conversation was over. But for Maya, it was far from over. Her stomach felt heavy, her mind screaming that something was wrong. That night, after dinner, David went to take a shower. Maya sat on the edge of the bed, staring at his phone lying on the nightstand. She never liked checking his phone. It felt like crossing a line, but now she couldn't ignore the uneasy feeling in her chest. With trembling hands, she unlocked it. Her breath stopped. There on the screen were messages between David and Chloe, not friendly, not innocent, but intimate, explicit texts and pictures that made her stomach turn. Chloe's face smiled back at her in ways a best friend never should. David's replies were full of words he hadn't said to Maya in months. Her fingers felt numb as she put the phone back exactly where she found it, her body stiff, like stone. She heard the shower running and realized she had tears on her cheeks. She thought she would scream or throw something, but instead, she sat still, breathing slowly until the tears dried. Then something shifted inside her. She remembered her mother years ago, crying silently at the dinner table while her father lied to her face. Maya had promised herself she would never be that woman. So, she didn't confront David right away. She didn't run to Chloe to shout or fight. Instead, she took a deep breath and made a choice. She would stay quiet, gather proof, and rethink her entire life before saying a word. If David and Chloe thought she was too trusting, they were about to find out how wrong they were. Maya acts normal outwardly, but inside, she's spiraling. Every morning, she gets up, makes coffee, and smiles at David like nothing is wrong. She kisses him on the cheek when he leaves for work and waves goodbye as if life is normal. At work, she sits in meetings, nods at presentations, and even jokes with her team. But inside, she feels like she's drowning. Every time her phone vibrates, she wonders if it's another message from Chloe to David. Every time David smiles at her, she wonders how much of it is fake. She starts keeping a quiet record of everything, photos of David's messages, notes of Chloe's visits, even the times she notices small changes in their behavior. She feels like a stranger in her own life, pretending to be happy while secretly building a file of betrayal. Chloe continues visiting, laughing easily, acting as if she still belongs in Maya's home. She never notices the way Maya watches her, the calm but cold expression behind her polite smile. David grows bolder too, touching his phone constantly, locking it when Maya walks into the room. He even stays out late twice in 1 week, saying it's for business. Maya just nods, giving no hint that she knows the truth. One evening, Maya overhears something that cuts deeper than before. Chloe is talking to David in the living room, while Maya is in the kitchen, out of sight. She's always so insecure about herself, Chloe says. She told me once she hates how quiet she gets at parties. It's kind of sweet, but also kind of pathetic, you know? David chuckles softly. Yeah, I know. I mean, I love her, but she just doesn't understand me sometimes. Maya grips the edge of the counter so hard her knuckles turn white. Chloe had taken the secrets she shared as a friend, moments of vulnerability, private fears, and twisted them into weapons for David. It wasn't just betrayal of love anymore. It was betrayal of friendship, trust, and every safe moment they had shared. That night, lying in bed next to David, Maya stares at the ceiling, debating what to do. Should she confront them both right now, scream until they're forced to face what they've done? Should she call their families, their friends, and expose them publicly, destroying their reputation the way they destroyed her trust? Or should she simply pack her things, leave quietly, and never look back? Her mind keeps flashing back to her mother, sitting at the dinner table years ago, wiping silent tears, while her father pretended nothing was wrong. Maya had promised she would never repeat that life. She would never stay quiet while someone disrespected her. But now here she was, silent, careful, pretending everything was okay, while her heart was breaking. A week later, she reaches her breaking point. She comes home early from work and hears Chloe upstairs. Maya walks quietly, her steps soft against the floor, and sees Chloe standing in front of the mirror, smiling at herself. Around Chloe's neck is a delicate silver necklace, Maya's necklace. It was the one David gave her on their second wedding anniversary, the one Maya thought she had lost months ago. Chloe notices Maya in the mirror and turns quickly. Oh hey, I just found this in the guest room. Must have been there for ages. Looks good on me, right? She says with a laugh, trying to sound casual. Maya just stares at her face calm, but her heart pounding. That necklace had been hers, and David had given it to Chloe. Maya turns and walks away without a word. She goes to her room, shuts the door quietly, and sits on the edge of her bed. Her hands shake, but her face remains calm. She is done pretending to be the trusting wife they both thought she was. Now, every piece of evidence she's gathered feels heavier, sharper, ready to be used. For the first time in weeks, she smiles. Not out of happiness, but out of resolve. They thought they were playing a game behind her back. They didn't know she had already chosen how this story would end. Maya invites Chloe and David for dinner to talk. She cooks a simple meal and sets the table neatly, her face calm and unreadable. David walks in, looking relaxed, thinking it's just another evening. Chloe arrives a little later, smiling nervously, unsure why Maya called for a sit-down dinner. Thanks for coming, Maya says softly as she pours wine into their glasses. We haven't all sat together in a while, and I thought it's time we talk. They sit and eat quietly for a few minutes. David talks about work. Chloe tries to laugh about something on TV, but Maya stays silent. Then she stands up, picks up a small Bluetooth speaker from the counter, and places it on the table. I want you both to hear something, she says, pressing play on her phone. A voice fills the room, Chloe's voice, soft and cruel. She's too trusting. Then David's laugh follows. Yeah, that's what I love about her. She never questions anything. The room freezes. Chloe's fork clatters against her plate. David's face drains of color. Maya, wait, David starts, but Maya raises her hand calmly. There's more, she says. Another recording plays, one where Chloe talks about Maya's insecurities, and David agrees, mocking his wife. When the recording ends, The silence is heavy. Chloe's eyes well up. Maya, it's not what you think, she says, her voice trembling. David shakes his head quickly, trying to take control. This didn't mean anything. Maya, you're overreacting. It was just talking, joking. It's nothing serious between me and Chloe. Maya looks at them both, her expression steady. You've been lying to me for months. I trusted you, David. I trusted you, Chloe, and you laughed about it. Chloe breaks down, crying into her hands. I'm sorry, Maya. I didn't mean to. Maya interrupts, her voice even. Stop. You both made choices. I just wanted you to know I'm not blind anymore. She stands, picks up a folder from the sideboard, and places it on the table. I already filed for divorce 2 days ago. David looks shocked, blinking fast. Maya, wait. You don't have to do this. We can fix this. Please. Maya shakes her head. No, David. I gave you my loyalty and love, and you gave it to someone else. It's done. She opens the folder and slides a set of documents toward him. And one more thing. You know the business you're so proud of? The one you think is only yours? I invested early on. Remember, I legally tied my ownership to your shares, which means, after the divorce, I get half. David's mouth opens, but no words come out. He had always seen himself as the one in control, a smart businessman. Now he realizes he's losing not just his marriage, but also a huge part of his company. Chloe looks between them, pale and shaking. She whispers, You planned all this? Maya looks at her calmly. No, Chloe, I planned to have a life with people I trusted. You both ruined that. This, she gestures to the papers, is just me taking back what's mine. David's voice turns desperate. Maya, don't do this. I'll end it with Chloe. It was a mistake. Maya cuts him off. A mistake? That's what you call months of lies. No, David. I'm done being the quiet, trusting wife you both thought I was. The power in the room shifts. David, who had been so confident and dismissive, now sits silently, his head in his hands. Chloe, once smug and careless, is sobbing, her mask completely gone. Maya picks up her plate and calmly places it in the sink. Dinner's over. You can both leave now. David looks like he wants to argue, but one look at Maya's face stops him. Chloe wipes her tears and stands slowly, her hands shaking. Without another word, they walk out of the house together, both looking smaller than ever. Maya closes the door behind them and exhales deeply. For the first time in weeks, she feels free. Not broken, not weak, but free. They thought she would scream, cry, or beg. Instead, she took back her power and ended it on her own terms. Maya moves into her own apartment, a bright and quiet place in the center of the city. It is smaller than the house she shared with David, but it feels lighter, warmer, and truly hers. She spends her weekends decorating it with colors she loves, soft blues, warm yellows, and touches of green plants. By the windows, she buys a big, comfortable sofa and a bed covered with new sheets that feel fresh and free of memories. For the first time in years, her home feels like her sanctuary, a place where no one can lie to her or take her trust for granted. She also starts therapy. At first, it feels strange to talk about things she kept buried for so long. Her father's affair, her mother's silent pain, and now David and Chloe's betrayal. But week after week, she feels lighter. The therapist helps her see how she carried old wounds into her marriage, how she tried so hard to trust because she was afraid of being broken again. Slowly, Maya learns to let go of that fear. One afternoon, after a long session, she sits in her new living room and smiles to herself. I'm not that scared little girl anymore, she whispers. It's true, she isn't. With her emotional strength returning, Maya throws herself into building something of her own, an HR consulting firm. For years, she had been managing teams for someone else's company, always making other people successful. Now she decides to do it for herself. She uses her experience and professional contacts to start small, taking freelance clients from companies who need HR help. Within months, her reputation grows, and she signs her first big contract. She becomes financially independent, proving to herself she doesn't need David or anyone else to stand tall. Meanwhile, Chloe and David face the weight of their choices. Chloe loses most of their mutual friends. People don't want to be around someone who betrayed her best friend for her husband. She tries to explain herself, but no one believes her anymore. David, too, struggles. Without Maya's support and knowledge, his business takes a hit. The shares Maya took during the divorce give her a steady income, while David works twice as hard just to stay afloat. For them, life feels heavier. For Maya, it feels lighter. In her free time, Maya picks up an old hobby she had abandoned years ago, paint. She buys brushes, colors, and canvases, and sets up a small art corner in her apartment. At first, her hands shake when she paints. It's been so long, but soon she finds herself lost in it, feeling peace in every stroke of color. Her paintings are not sad or angry. They are bright, full of life, full of hope. One day, as she steps back to look at a finished painting, she smiles. It is a picture of a sunrise, warm, new, and full of promise. It feels like her own life, starting fresh. Maya realizes she no longer thinks about David and Chloe every day. They are just a closed chapter, a lesson learned. What matters now is the life she is building, one she controls, one where she chooses who belongs. Her apartment, her business, her art, all of it feels like pieces of herself coming back together. She is no longer the quiet wife trying to keep peace. She is Maya Thompson, strong, free, and finally living for herself. Maya hosts a small housewarming party with new friends and co-workers. Her new apartment is filled with laughter, soft music, and the smell of fresh food she prepared herself. There are no memories of betrayal here, no heavy silence, just warm voices and kind smiles. People admire her cozy space, the soft-colored walls, the green plants near the windows, and the art she painted herself hanging on the walls. Someone compliments her sunrise painting, and Maya smiles. "That one's my favorite," she says softly, knowing it represents her new beginning. Later in the evening, when the plates are empty and glasses are half full, Maya picks up her glass and stands near the small dining table. The room quiets down as everyone looks at her. She takes a deep breath, her voice calm but steady. "I just want to say thank you," she begins, looking at each face. "When I moved here, I promised myself I would choose peace over betrayal and silence over screaming matches. I wanted to start fresh, and you all being here tonight means more to me than you know." There's a short pause as her eyes glisten, but she doesn't cry. "This is my home now, a home I built with honesty, trust, and a little bit of courage. So, cheers to new beginnings." Everyone claps and raises their glasses, smiling at her. The warmth in the room fills her heart, making it feel lighter than it has in years. The night goes on with laughter and quiet music until slowly, one by one, the guests leave. Some hug her tightly, others promise to visit again soon. Finally, the door closes behind the last guest, leaving the apartment quiet again. Maya takes a moment to look around at the clean, bright space. There are empty glasses on the table and the faint sound of the city outside her window. She walks over, pulls the curtains open, and looks out at the city lights twinkling against the night sky. She takes a deep breath and lets it out slowly, a quiet smile spreading across her. For the first time in years, she feels utterly free, stronger, whole, and quietly at peace with where she's been and where she's going. Maya flips off the lights and walks toward her bedroom, stepping into her sanctuary, her life reclaimed, her future hers. Thank you for watching all the way through. If this story resonated, please like, share, and subscribe for more deeply human tales. See you next time.